Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that the following program contains images of people who have died.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
For weeks now, it's a message that's been echoing right across the country.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No.
As thousands of people came together to show solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement in the US.
We stand with you, America! No more death!
For a lot of people, the protests overseas drew attention to the many issues Australia's Indigenous people have faced for a long time.
We have, since colonisation, been fighting for our rights to be recognised in our own country, and today it's wonderful to see you fellas here to say enough is enough.
This has gone on for generations and generations, over 230 years of mourning is what we've been going through. And you get tired. It makes you so heart sore. And enough is enough. Really, it's just to the point where we're just done. And even during a pandemic, we need to make our voices heard.
Colonisation had a devastating effect on Australia's First People. Many lost their land and their lives. Thousands of Indigenous people were murdered in massacres that went on up until the early 20th century. Children were stolen from their parents, and people were denied the same basic rights as white Australians. Even after Indigenous people were allowed to vote and counted as citizens, the racism didn't end.
Most of them are all dirty and everything.
And are Aboriginals allowed to go into the theatre?
Yes, they go in by that door over there.
And sit in a separate section?
Yes.
As Prime Minister of Australia, I am sorry.
Over the years, there have been some big steps forward, but many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people say they still experience racism.
Could you really rely on her?
A recent study found that 3 out of 4 people hold negative views about Australia's First People. And experts say that has had a big impact on people's lives. For example, Indigenous kids are less likely to attend school regularly, and many are falling behind in things like literacy and numeracy. Indigenous people are less likely to be employed, especially in leadership and management positions. And despite only making up 3% of the country's population, Indigenous people make up 29% of prisoners in Australia.
It's not because we're lesser human beings, it's because of the impact of historical policies and utterly horrible abuses of Aboriginal people and whole populations for more than 200 years.
And that's what these protests were about, to draw attention to racism in Australia, which affects many people, and not just Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. But the timing of these protests has made them controversial. They were banned in some states last weekend because of the risk of spreading COVID-19, and the Prime Minister asked people not to protest.
The health risks of gathering in such large numbers and the risks of people coming into close proximity are real.
In some places, people protested anyway.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
But whether or not the rallies continue, many are hoping this is a message that doesn't get lost, and that together, we can make a difference.
Call out racism, call out ignorance, call out unjustifiable behaviour, even if they're your family, because that's where it starts, at home. That's what you can control in your little circle.